Episode: The Plague that Devastated the Empire 541 AD, Constantinople, Byzantine Empire. In the previous episode, we witnessed the Nika Revolt, the day Constantinople burned in flames and the Eastern Roman Empire almost collapsed under Justinian I. We saw how the emperor, advised by the courageous Theodora, chose to stay and fight, crushing the rebellion in the Hippodrome in a conflict that resulted in the deaths of about 30,000 souls. If you haven't watched that episode yet, at the end of this video I'll leave the link on screen and also the complete playlist in the description. Now, time travelers, prepare yourselves. The year is 541 after Christ. Justinian survived the revolt, consolidated his power, and dreams of restoring the glory of Rome. But a silent and inexorable force approaches the empire's borders, a presence that negotiates no treaties nor distinguishes between subjects and sovereigns. Today we're going to witness the Plague of Justinian, the first recorded pandemic of bubonic plague, which over 2 centuries led to the disappearance of tens of millions of people, nearly shaking the foundations of Mediterranean civilization. Welcome to the Fall of Thrones, where you explore epic medieval stories, revealed through 3 unique perspectives that will change your vision of the past. Historical setting: the year is 541 AD. 15 years have passed since Justinian I assumed the throne of the Eastern Roman Empire. After surviving the Nika Revolt, the emperor is at the height of his power. His troops reconquered North Africa from the Vandals and Italy from the Ostrogoths. The dream of Renovatio Imperii, the renewal of the empire, seems within reach. Constantinople shines as the new Rome, with its magnificent newly built Hagia Sophia challenging the heavens. But in Egypt's ports, on ships loaded with grain that feed the capital, something silent travels as a stowaway. Yersinia pestis, the bubonic plague bacterium, is about to unleash the first recorded pandemic of this disease. What will begin as isolated cases will transform into outbreaks that, over 2 centuries, caused the disappearance of 25 to 50 million people. This won't be just another epidemic. It will be the event that weakens the Roman dream of reconquest, debilitates Byzantine power, and opens the way for Arab expansion that will conquer the empire's richest provinces. The Plague of Justinian won't just reduce the population, it will accelerate the end of a world, contributing to the transition from Antiquity to the Middle Ages. Act I: The Awakening of Silence. Imperial Palace dawn. The sun rises over Constantinople's golden domes. Justinian, 58 years old, imposing in his purple vestments, observes the city from a balcony of the great palace. His eyes reveal the determination of one who conquered territories from Ravenna to Africa. Justinian, whispering to himself, Rome will be reborn, more glorious than before. A messenger bursts through the door, breathless and pale. Messenger, Basileus, urgent news from the port. Justinian, turning slowly, what disturbance is this? Speak. Messenger, the ships, coming from Egypt, bring more than grain, your majesty. They bring desolation. Justinian's face hardens. Scriptorium, same moment. Procopius of Caesarea, 45 years old, elegant and observant, writes on parchment by candlelight. His hands tremble slightly, not from fear, but from intellectual excitement. He smells history being made. Procopius, writing, murmuring. In the 15th year of Justinian's reign, ... double quotes, pauses, raises his head. How does one document the undocumentable? His assistant, Marcus, approaches nervously. Marcus, Master Procopius, they say the plague has reached the city gates. Should we leave? Procopius, smiling coldly, leave, my young man. Historians don't flee from history. They follow it until the last breath. Hagia Sophia Church mourning. John of Ephesus, 52 years old, patriarch with graying beard and penetrating eyes, kneels before the altar. The echo of his prayers resounds through the majestic vaults. Through the windows, the city's growing murmur can be heard. John, in fervent prayer, Lord, the blood of Nika still echoes in these stones. 30,000 souls departed in that cursed hippodrome. And now, pauses, voice trembling, now your wrath pours upon all of us. A young deacon approaches, interrupting the prayer. Deacon, Father John, the people are panicking. They say it's the end of times. John, rising with sacred fury, the end of times. Turning to the deacon, no, my son, it's the beginning of divine justice. Justinian washed these streets with innocent blood 15 years ago, And now God responds with a plague that makes Nika seem like a mild memory. Act 2. The Empire in Silence. Hippodrome. 3 weeks later, what was once a place of celebration has now become a place of final rest and memory. Justinian walks among the departed, escorted by guards who cover their noses and mouths. His face is thinner, marked by the disease that almost took him. Justinian, to himself, hoarse voice, 5,000 souls departing per day. How does one govern an empire of memories? Justinian looking, soldiers who reconquered Africa, artisans who raised Hagia Sophia, scribes who copied the classics. Voice breaking, all knowledge lost, all conquests in vain. A counselor approaches, pale. Counselor, your majesty, reports have arrived from the army in Italy. Half the troops can no longer act. Justinian, shouting to the sky, I am Justinian, Emperor of Rome. Bitter pause. But what good is being emperor if there's no more empire to guide? His voice echoes empty through the silent hippodrome. Procopius's house. Knight Procopius writes frantically by the flickering light of candles. His face is thinner, but his eyes shine with purpose. Piles of parchments accumulate around him. Procopius, reading what he wrote. This is not just a common plague. It's the end of a world. The first recorded pandemic of bubonic plague. He pauses, hearing the distant murmur of the city. He takes a new quill. Procopius, continuing, dictating, I saw an empire that stretched from Ravenna to North Africa fall apart in months. I saw armies that defeated Vandals and Ostrogoths, taken by an invisible enemy. His hand trembles as he writes, Procopius to himself. How does one document the exact moment when history changes course, pauses, when antiquity retreats, and something new and terrible is born? He looks out the window, seeing Constantinople in darkness. Procopius, whispering, future historians will say, there Rome ended. There the Middle Ages began. Hagia Sophia, same moment John of Ephesus, celebrates Mass for a congregation of perhaps 50 people. A cathedral that holds thousands now echoes empty. His voice resounds powerfully despite physical weakness. John, preaching with intensity. And I saw when the Lamb opened the fourth seal, and I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, come and see. He pauses, his eyes blazing as he observes the afflicted faces. John, voice growing, my children, you ask me why this plague. I tell you, do you remember the hippodrome? Do you remember the 30,000 who departed like leaves in the wind? Pounds fist on pulpit. Justinian watered these stones with innocent blood, and now God waters our streets with our own silence. A young woman stands up, distressed. WOMAN. My children didn't participate in Nika. Why do they pay for the emperor's sins? John, long pause, voice breaking. Because whispers, because all of us applauded when blood flowed. All of us accepted peace bought with pain. Shouting, and now we pay the price of that silent complicity. Act 3. The Last Breath. Imperial Palace. 2 months later, Justinian, visibly weakened but alive, receives reports from throughout the empire. Maps cover the tables, marked with red X's, silent cities. Counselor, your majesty, we've lost half the empire's population. The Arabs are moving in the desert. The Lombards threaten Italy. Our military capacity. Justinian, interrupting bitterly, there is no more military capacity. Pauses. 15 years ago, I dreamed of restoring the Roman Mediterranean. Today, I can't even protect what I already had. He approaches the window, observing semi-deserted Constantinople. Justinian, reflective, I built Hagia Sophia to challenge heaven. I reconquered territories to rebuild Rome. Voice breaking, and an enemy smaller than a flea made disappear in months what took me decades to build. Counselor, and the dream of renovatio imperi, your majesty. Justinian, whispering, it died along with tens of millions of souls. Long pause. The last Roman emperor was me. Those who come after will govern something completely different. Procopius's house. Evening. Procopius, now clearly ill but still writing, finishes his account. His hands tremble not only from weakness but from urgency. Procopius, dictating to Marcus, if anyone in the future questions the veracity of this account, let them observe the ruins of our time. Let them count the silence. Let them measure the absence. He closes his eyes, exhausted. Procopius, Marcus, if I don't survive, promise me these words will survive. Marcus, emotional, I promise. Master, Procopius, whispering, history must survive. Hagia Sophia night, John of Ephesus prays alone in the empty cathedral. Solitary candles flicker in the shadows. His voice echoes ghost-like, but now carries doubt. John, broken voice, Lord, I said it was your justice. I said Nika deserved this response. Pauses, tears flowing. But the children, Lord, should they have departed too? He stands up, heading to the altar, staggering. John, shouting to the vaults, was I wrong? Is it not punishment, but just cruel chance? Whispers, if it was to punish Justinian for Nika's sins, he falls to his knees before the altar. John, whispering, forgive me, Lord. Perhaps the real error was blaming you for our own thirst for vengeance. Wind howls through the cathedral's broken windows, as if it were the divine response. Epilogue, the echo of eternity. Constantinople, 1 year later. The city slowly reboots. The streets fill with people, though in far fewer numbers than before. Justinian, aged but still imposing, observes everything from the same balcony as the beginning. The Plague of Justinian, in recurring outbreaks between 541 and mid-8th century, may have led to the disappearance of between 25 and 50 million people, somewhere between 10% and 25% of the Mediterranean world's population. More than a demographic tragedy, it was the event that profoundly shook the Roman dream of reconquest and accelerated the transition from Antiquity to the Middle Ages. In the following decades, the Arabs would conquer Egypt and Syria, the empire's richest provinces, and urban civilization would suffer a gradual collapse. But that's a matter for another episode. Closing and next episode. The Plague of Justinian wasn't just a disease, it was the event that redefined the Byzantine Empire, challenged the ambition to restore Rome, and accelerated the transformation of the ancient world into something new and uncertain. But this is only part of the story. In the next episode, we'll witness a moment that would fragment Italy and forever change the peninsula's destiny. The Lombard conquest of Italy, told through three unique perspectives: Alboin, the conquering Lombard king; Rosamund, the prisoner princess who becomes queen; Pope John III, the pontiff trying to navigate between conflicting powers. If you want to follow the true history of the Middle Ages, without fiction, without romanticization, subscribe to the channel. Leave in the comments, which of the three perspectives impressed you most? 3 men survived to document the end of a world. Justinian, thoughtful. We will rebuild. We always rebuild. Procopius writing, and I will document every stone replaced. John praying, and I will bless every new beginning. 3 perspectives of the same catastrophe. The power that persists, the truth that documents, the faith that resists. And remember, history is not about great men doing great things. It's about real people facing impossible choices. Subscribe, activate notifications, and embark with us on this journey through the Middle Ages. Until next time, time travelers.